Hi everyone, it's Dr. Ryan. Welcome to another talk that we're going to do here at TuitionEP. Today we're really going back in time. I'm excited about this talk. It's one of those terms that's used a lot in the last decade, but I want to kind of set the record right on where the term Fintech came about. So today we're going to talk about what is Fintech and how does it affect you. Now, from the standpoint of the term, it's actually two words. It's financial and technology, and they just mash them together. That's happened a lot over the last, I'd say, 5 to 10 years, where they're jamming everything together. Everything is something tech, and I think there's a good article out on LinkedIn. It's everything tech, which you just jam things together. We're going to focus mostly on fintech because that is a space that we love, and it's something that's relevant to our partners and clients. So we want to really address this term. So with that said, I want to share with you a couple high-level points and then also take you back in time. When it comes to fintech, really it's a noun. It's actually a word. Computer programs and other technology used to support and enable banking and financial services. So it's using technology and in a sense merging it with how does finance and how does that how do those different avenues in which we collect or receive or send or put money, how does that all work together? So with that said, I want to kind of talk about the stages of fintech, because right now, technically, we're in Fintech 3, or the third iteration of it. Let's go back to 1800s when it was the telegram. That was, in a sense, the first rollout of what could be considered fintech. We only look back on it now and call it wasn't called that then, but we can look back now and say, oh, fintech started with the telegram. And a lot of people, I agree with that. They call it 1.0. I actually think there was something before that, because when it comes down to it, it's a process in which currency is traded. So I want to go back even further, literally thousands of years before that. I think it's about 2,000 years before that, when it was coins, the Lydian. It's a common term where the empires back then, instead of trading cows for land, or and they would bring cows and they would do that exchange, they actually created the first coins. They called them Lydians. And so I'm going to say that there's a fintech that we're kind of missing and forgetting about, that it was technology, although very archaic, where there was coins. The coin currency was a part of fintech. So I always want to give homage to the Lydian and the coin that was created, in a sense, instead of bringing along cows and large, whatever you were trading in an agreement or in a barter system. They're actually created a coin system. So, okay, then fast forward a couple thousand years, we then came up with the telegram, which was I think it was in 1870s or so, then that started. And then fast forward to ATMs. So they refer to that as Fintech 2, when really we created the first ATM. That's the kind of the common known technology that was used, and it was the ATM machine where people would go and deposit and receive money, and there was really no human involved. It was all based on the machine, which was very cool. We're now in Fintech 3, and again, this is the history of fintech. I refer to it, and I love what Rachel Huggins put out: telegraphs, ATMs, and cryptocurrencies, oh my. Because it's really lions and tigers and bears, oh my. It's really an apropos term for what is happening. When it comes down to, though, cryptocurrencies, and there's a lot that we're in the middle of Fintech 3, I would say one of the bigger ones is blockchain, and really how blockchain is set up is there's multiple, in a sense, nodes. And as data travels, they almost verify themselves based on, you can't go back and change. So when it comes down to a trade or an agreement, smart contracts, there's a lot of elements that come into this. They can't really be changed. They, in a sense, based on the way they're structured, they verify themselves, which is really exciting. I talked a little bit about this earlier: everything tech, health tech, invest tech, legal tech. Pretty much right now, the way our world is, there's something tech for everything. And that's exciting. But I would say that fintech leads that charge because of the fact the status of currency is so integral to all of these other elements. So if you're going to talk about education tech or retail tech, Well, retail tech, okay, that could be, that could just be a e-commerce website that is, in a sense, moving retail items, in a sense, bartering or trading retail items, sale, wholesale, what have you. But guess what? Fintech still powers that. So what I like about it is that fintech is leading, and there's other technologies that are evolving and growing based on the industries they're in. I want to touch a kind of more of a practical. How can you incorporate fintech into your business or into your industry? I'm going to say there's a couple things I mentioned, but I really like the idea of smart contracts. I think it's smart, but it does make a lot of sense when it comes to agreeing between two parties. Why not use technology to help that agreement be solidified? And FinTech 3 has taken us a long way in having that a viable resource, because it's really irreversible, which contracts, in the last, I'd say, let's go back to 2000, it was fax, and then emails started, but really it was very archaic. Now, cloud-based technology, there's so many tech out there that really allow us to make it where the contracts are smart. The way we use it was we actually have it where it's all cloud-based, but there's negotiation back and forth. We do edits live, and then once it's signed, both is sealed and it's stored, irreversible. So it's really a smart concept as far as how we can use the technology. Blockchain, I mentioned that before. This is still really a great way where anything can be traded. So I don't want to just say, ooh, it's just crypto, it's just this. No, it can be anything. And that's where the potential for growth in this space is, we can't measure it. And then Notary. The reason I put Notary in there is because I think Notary, it's time to evolve this. Right now, it's a very archaic system, but good system. It's worked for decades now. But why can't it be where we say, hey, and in all fairness, notaries have gone much further, but I think using technology can really progress them further. Okay, one thing I want to say, what does this mean for your business and consumers? For businesses, think about how your contracts are set up. Think about how your HR process is set up. There's so many fantastic tools out there now that allow businesses to really onboard their employees, to have them set up their own, financials, to have them set up their own banking and routing numbers. So many tools available for businesses out there. And that's just on the HR side. Just think of every other department and how technology can really push you further, especially on the fintech side. For consumers, it's no longer, oh, let me write you a check. When I hear, can I write a check? I'm like, really? That's just not, is that still a thing? So I really think that as consumers, it should be, can I Venmo you? Can I Cash App you? And those are awesome platforms and apps that are out there. So that's something that is definitely, for consumers, we are much more consumer centric with these technologies. We don't, we're not really building them for the businesses and the industries. We're focusing on the consumer, which I love, and that's what it should be. People that use these technologies, these apps, really, we should focus on them. I'm going to do a shameless plug now. TuitionEP. We really built that for consumers, and we built it for schools. So we really have those two target audiences: the schools, the administrators, the business office, and then the parents, the families that have to pay tuition or have to pay fees. And how that agreement occurs is through the enrollment process. But what's nice is that with technology, the app allows parents to seamlessly see what's owed and pay, and the schools allow to seamlessly collect that tuition or those fees and receive and continue to run the school. So that's two ways in which all businesses and consumers should look at it. And then also, as far as technology, I'm a fan of obviously our own technology. Okay, one thing I want to say is please text me. I actually did receive a text for our last talk, which is fantastic. And continue to text me. I don't care. That is actually my mobile number. Feel free to reach out as well to our office. Thanks so much, guys. I've really appreciated the time. We'll be back next week with more information. We're going to get a little bit more aggressive next week, so come on back. Talk to you soon.